Hello friends, and welcome to the Hall of Craft. I am Alasdair Hall, and today I want to talk to you about bases. You could say I am all about these bases. I hate myself, but first. We got Reaper bases. We got 2-inch round ones. We got 1-inch hex ones. We got 1-inch square ones. I look at these and I think, why can't I just make my own? My technique for making bases pretty simple. I start with cork. Cork, but you can't use cork. Cork is too flimsy. It'll bend. No, it'll be fine. You fool! I'm just gonna cut up cork and then we're gonna harden it. And then we're gonna stick our miniatures onto it. And then we're gonna decorate it, and then we're gonna paint it. Follow me and I'll show you these easy steps. You will have beautiful, durable, unique bases all to yourself.
So we're just starting with some cork board, regular dollar store cork board. We're gonna take our bases and we're gonna trace them on with a pen. So I'm gonna trace a few at each of these. Okay, so now that those are traced, we're just going to cut them out with a sharp X-Acto knife. You're probably going to want to use a new blade. So just press down on the cork board and then saw back and forth with your blade. There you go. And just do that for all of them. Okay, so I've cut those all out of the cork. Now we're ready to harden them. So take all of our bases and put them on a baking sheet. And then we'll use some glue, Elmer's glue, just basic white glue. Pour it out onto our sheet and then take a brush you don't care about and just start putting it on. We're going to hit all 4 sides and the top, and we'll leave the other side for later, just so to stick to the sheet. So the beautiful part about this glue is that it's going to sink into the cork, and when it dries it's going to harden up the whole thing. And at the same time it's going to be able to keep all the texture that the cork has on its own. we go. Now we'll just set that aside to dry. And once they're dry, we'll come back and peel them off. And we're ready to do the other side. As you can see, they're much more durable now. The top has a bit of a sheen on it. Okay, let's do the other side. So all in all, this will only take a few hours to complete. Most of it is drying time. Alright, so we can set these aside. So once they're dry, we're pretty much done. We got our bases ready to go. So now we just want to brighten them up a bit. So here's a bag of bases that I've made in the past. I just keep them aside, make them in large batches. As you can see, they're pretty durable. They're ready to go whenever you need them. So I'm going to take a mini, I'm going to use some E6000 and just going to stick it on, show you how the process works. So we'll just take a toothpick and spread that around on the bottom of the mini, and then we're going to stick the mini onto the cork. Just like that. So before that dries, we're just going to take the mini and some sand and a bottle of white glue, and we're going to bridge the gap between the cork and the plastic base of the mini. So I'm just going to surround that in glue, use the nozzle of the bottle to spread it around, and then we're going to cover it in sand. This is going to give it a really natural look. And you can paint this sand to be whatever color you want. It doesn't have to be brown. On a lot of my miniatures, the sand is actually grass. So once that's dry, I'm going to take some super glue and some rocks, and we're going to add a little bit more detail to that base. So I'm just going to pick out a couple areas where I think there could be some larger rocks, and I'm going to let them drop, fall naturally onto the base. And I'll pick out like a larger one and put it in there. And I'll put some at the back too. There you go. So I have some terrain pieces, and I just wanted to show you that these bases can work for those as well. These are pretty small and flimsy on their own, and I find I never use them. So if we put them on a base, they'll have a little more presence on the board, and they'll be able to stand up on their own. Same technique, going to use more E6000. And just spread it along with a toothpick and stick them on bases. Great thing about the E6000 is that it's got a super strong hold, and it dries really fast. So you put it on there and it's pretty much good to go. So on these I'm also going to use the sand on the ones that I think I will be using in an outdoor scenario. So the well and the lamps. Same technique as with the miniature, just going to spread it along. Give it more of a natural edge. We'll do that for the others as well. And there! So once those are dry, I'm going to bring out the super glue again in the rocks and replicate the same process that we did for the miniature. I like to do this one step at a time with the super glue because if it rolls around, I don't want that on my fingers. Made that mistake before. Okay, so once those are dry, they're ready for a base coat of paint. As you can see, they're much more durable now. Those candlesticks might actually see some use. So I'm going to use some flat gray craft paint because it makes it as a great base coat for all my terrain stuff, even my miniatures. So just spread that everywhere. I recommend using pieces that aren't painted yet, but unfortunately I got a little excited to paint these terrain bases. Didn't think about how they'd be used. I'll just touch up the areas afterwards where I hit them with the gray. And there you have it. Once they're dry, you're ready to go. And that's my basing process. I think it looks really natural. It gives them a lot more durability and stability and a good weight to them as well. And a really nice natural edge to the sides of the base. They have a huge presence on my board. And here's some close-ups. They take paint really well. Dry brush on these goes a really long way. And I like to paint the edges black. And here are some of my finished pieces.
And that's how you make cork bases. Pretty simple, only takes about an afternoon. They're super cheap, super durable. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, really appreciate it. If you want to see more like this, would love to have you join the Hall of Craft and hit that subscribe button. See you in the next video. Hall of Craft!